So, hello everyone. I am Abhishek Swain. I am working in Mindfire Solutions from last 7 months, and today I am going to give the seminar on Robotium. So, those who are on GTM, my voice is clear. Okay, going through the agenda of today, today we will be having introduction of Robotium, that means what it is and why we are using that one. And then we'll be discussing on the features of this tool. Then we'll be discussing on the limitations of this tool that currently it has. And then we'll be discussing on the configuration, etc. And then we'll create a project and we'll have a discussion on the execution flow of the project, and then we'll have a demo. So Robotium is basically open source project that is a Java based project. So that is hosted under Google Code and the source code goes to GitHub. So the founder and the developer of this tool is one guy named Reddas Rana. He developed this tool when he was working with JUA, and now they have their own company called Robotium Tech, and they are maintaining this project presently. Basically, Robotium is a Java-based library. It contains some functions we can use those functions to do all the user actions that we do in a mobile device, like tap, touch, and input something, and slide. All those things we can use. We can have the functions in this library to achieve those stuffs. So. Uh, so user develops automation scripts using Java, and Android software development tool that is called ADT bundle, that comes with some API for testing as well. So what Robotium did, like they have just reused those APIs to create some robust functions so that we can use those functions to have our automation project on Android. So coming to the features of Robotium, now what we can do with Robotium, we can automate Android applications of native and hybrid type. So coming to what is native application and what is a hybrid application, like pure native applications contain some elements like buttons, text fields, and all. Uh, those APIs and those views are provided with the Android SDK, and hybrid app is native app with some web views, and Robotium can support activities, native views, web views, toast messages, and almost all the UI elements that we get from an Android application. Like what are activities? Like in web application we see different pages, so we can have the synonymous thing here, like one page, one screen, we called one activity.
Rely on land, that's the best we can do. You're on land, right?
Yeah. Okay, I am actually on LAN, and still if you are facing this problem, then
You have the emulator on, right?
yeah.
Here is the heaven also. The same issue, you know,
Yes,
GTM,
yes.
which is
GTM.
Okay. You can just tell them like it's the same because it's a problem. Nothing can be done. It will be like that.
Okay, so activities, what are activities? Like comparing it with the web application, uh, in web application we call one page. That is, one page is comparable to one activities in Android application. So and native views are the views like buttons and text fields, those things that we generally see in Android applications. Those are called native views. And web views are like web elements embedded in that web application. So those things are called web views. Toast messages that appears for small time and then disappears. So I'll be showing what are the toast messages in one of my demo. And then so uh, where we can test, we can run our automation script. Like we can run our automation script on emulators as well as real devices. So emulators, we can have all the versions of Android, and we can have every size of the screen that is available presently in the market. So Robotium has the facility, like we'll develop test scripts once and then run it over all kind of Android versions that is available. So Robotium is independent of screen size and resolution. That means our automation script can run over different size of the screen and also having different resolutions. And it is not coordinate based. Like we are not targeting the elements by coordinates. That's why the test scripts are robust. So this is the thing. That's why it works on all versions of Android and also all sizes of the devices. And it has a very good feature, like it supports it handles all the activities automatically. That means as I said, like here pages are comparable to activities, so we have multiple activities in an application. So Robotium detects all the activities automatically. That means suppose we are navigating to some another activity from one activity, then Robotium is going to detect that second activity automatically. We need not to mention the second activity, we just need to have the launcher activity, and that's it. Okay, now coming to the limitations. Like we have some other tools for web automation like Selenium. It supports all the client libraries like Java, C Sharp, Ruby, all those languages are supported. But here we have a limitation, like we need to write our automation test scripts using Java only. So no other language bindings are there to use. And there is another limitation of Robotium, like it does not support Flash. That means we can't automate Flash based views. Now question comes, like, do you need source code of the application that we are going to test? The answer is no. We can have our automation script without the source code, and we can also develop test scripts if we have the source code of the application under test. That will be a white box testing. Suppose we have the source code in our workspace, and we want to have a automation script of that application. We can do it. And suppose we don't have the source code, we have only the installer file of the Android platform, that is called APK, and we can use that one to develop almost all scenarios that we can cover to develop our test scripts. Now, what are the requirements to get started with Robotium? Like we need Android SDK. I have given this link. From this link we can download. That is called a ADT bundle. That is Android development tool that comes with one inbuilt Eclipse. That means that is a customized version of Eclipse with Android development tool plugin. And then we need Java, we need Eclipse, and for building and dependency management we are using Maven. And Maven plugin for Eclipse is required to manage the dependencies and control the Maven project inside Eclipse. Okay, these are the path settings that we need to have our project. Like Java Home, that is basically the path setting for Java, and Android Home. Android home we can set, and in the system path we need to include two folders, that is tools and platform tools. These two folders comes with the Android SDK, and then we need to have Maven home in our path so that we can build our project with Maven commands. Okay, now as I said, like we can have our test run on emulators and also real devices. Now, how we can create emulators? Like now I'm demonstrating like how we can create emulators. So this one is the Eclipse, that is the customized version of Eclipse that comes with Android SDK. Now to create one emulator, we have to navigate this way, Window, then Android Virtual Device Manager. Here we can create Android virtual devices, that is so called emulator. Like here we can give a name. Then we need to select the device, like what screen size of devices we want, and some predefined devices are there like Nexus 7, 5, and all the definitions like properties of these devices has been already set by Google, so we can select them. Otherwise we can select a screen type with the resolution, and then we need to select the Android version. Like we all are aware of that Android comes with different versions like 4.1, 4.2. So they have their own name like Jelly Bean, KitKat, and all those things. So here we need to select the API version or Android version. Now mobile, like our system has different kind of processors like Intel, AMD, those kind of processors are there. So mobile devices have processors like ARM and Intel Atom. Those processors goes to mobile small devices. So we need to select the processor type that will be emulated in this system, and the behavior of that emulator will be according to that processor. That means if we are selecting ARM, then the behavior of the emulator will be exactly like what the device would be doing if it has a ARM based processor. Then we can select like hardware keyboard present, like in the emulator we can give the input from our system only. So if you are checking this option, then we can give the input from the keyboard. Otherwise we have to use the soft keyboard that comes with the emulator. And here we can mention the RAM and heap memory. That is a basic thing, like mobile device has RAM, so we can give the RAM memory over here, and then we can mention the internal storage of the device, and then we can also emulate an SD card in the emulator. Like in the mobile devices we have SD cards, so we can mention the size of the SD card over here.
Basically, one question.
Yes, sir.
The configuration has to be done same like real device model. And suppose it has like one CPU. Suppose
Okay.
you have selected ARM.
Yes.
That means the real device has also ARM.
Yes, exactly. So, suppose we want to have the test run on a specific kind of device, like suppose we have a Samsung Galaxy S3, and we know what are the features of this, like what is the processor type and what is the RAM amount, all those things we have. So we can just mention those things over there, so that we can have an environment exactly like to the Samsung Galaxy. So that is the thing. So like one application can behave differently with different processor types. So if you are selecting ARM, then the emulator, that application in this specific emulator will behave exactly like what it would be doing in a real device having ARM processor. So this is the fact.
This particular feature comes with only this application.
Yeah.
We have one
We have-
for Android specific only.
Yes, this is Android specific, and this is the inbuilt feature of Android SDK, and we have also some third-party emulators like Genymotion and all. They have some ready-made devices. They have ready-made configurations, so we can also use those stuffs. Like this device I have created right now, you can see this is listed under the devices. So we can create multiple devices over here, and we can run multiple devices at the same time. So clicking on the start button, we'll be having one emulator like this that I have already started. So this way we can configure emulators. Now coming to the real devices. Now real devices we can connect using a micro or mini USB cable that is depends upon the device type. And to enable USB debugging, we need to enable it in the real device. Like we have in the settings, we have a option of developer tools, and we can go there and enable USB debugging, so that we will be able to access that device, debug that device from this computer.
In the emulator, those icons are coming based on we have several icons here.
Yeah, those are the pre-installed applications. Like we have Android OS, and it has some inbuilt applications like mail, and some stuffs are there like settings and all those kind of things that you see in your mobile. So those things comes inbuilt, and we can install our application that we are going to test into that device, and then we can see the icon of that application inside that. So this is okay. Now to test our application, we need to resign it. Why we resign it? The signature of both the test project and the application we are going to test must match. So what is signature? Signature is nothing but the information of the developer, like the first name, last name, and other stuffs. So those things need to be same in both the test application and the application that we are going to test. And if it is mismatching, then we will not be able to open the application under test, and the test will fail. Okay, so how to resign one APK file? So we have two ways. We can have it from command line. We can have it from a tool called resign, that is basically a jar file. So now I am demonstrating how to resign one APK application. Okay, this one is one application called WordPress. This is an open source application, so I have chosen out this one. Now to resign it, I need to delete the signature information that it already has. So to do that, I need to open it with any zip utility like 7zip or WinZip. I need to delete this one, meta-inf folder. This folder contains all the signature information and certificate of the developer. So I have to directly delete by this way. And then I need to resign this application. So for resigning, we have this command. Okay, fine. Before this, we need one file called debug.keystore. That means that is the certificate file that Eclipse, this Android Eclipse generates automatically, and that contains the signature information of the default user of the system. So how to get that file? We need to navigate this way. Users. So here we have debug.keystore. We need to copy this file and put it in the same folder where that APK file is. Now I need to mention the name of the APK file. So now this application has been signed, that we can check, like again it exploring with an zip utility. So here it is signed with our signature. And the second way is there is a tool available called resign.jar. This is basically jar file. So this has a GUI interface and we can just drag drop the application over here. And it will prompt to save the debugged or the signed version of the application.
Debug.keystore comes with the SDK.
No, that will be generated when you compile any Android application in this Eclipse, Android Eclipse, then that stuff gets generated automatically. Okay, now this one is the signed version of our application. Okay, now how we can install the application to the emulator or the device? Like we have certain commands for there. Like these are the example commands, some commands that we can use to interact with the emulator or the real device. Like ADB devices, this is one command we can use to check the devices that currently connected to the system. Like I have only one emulator present, that's why it is showing this thing only. Then suppose we need to install this application to the emulator, so we can use another command. ADB install and then the application name, so it takes some time to get installed in the emulator.
And the signature doesn't match here only it will throw.
No, it will be installed successfully, but when we'll have our script run, then it will throw an error like certificate mismatch or something like that.
If there are multiple emulators or multiple devices connected at the same time,
Yeah.
in which emulator or device it will install the application?
No, then we need to mention the emulator. Like we have some parameters like hyphen E and hyphen D. Like we can use hyphen E and then we can mention the emulator name over there to install it in a particular emulator. And if we have connected a real device, then we need to mention like adb install hyphen D and the device name, and then after the other stops. And if you run directly this one like adb install without mentioning the device, and that particular time we have multiple devices connected to this computer, then it will basically throw an error like multiple devices connected. Now after the success message, we can check the device has been that application has been installed to this emulator. See this one is the application. Okay, so we have confirmed that this has been installed. Okay, so we have some other commands like we need to uninstall some application. So what we can use one command adb uninstall and the package name of that particular application. I'll be showing how to get the package names of these installed applications. And suppose we need to copy some file from our system to that emulator, that might be internal memory, that might be SD card. So we can use adb push and then the file name or the folder name, and then we can mention the path to where we want to copy that particular file inside emulator. And suppose we need to copy one file from emulator to our system, we can use this one adb pull. Okay, fine. Now I'll show like how to create one project and configure it and add the dependencies and all.
So whatever you have installed, that is one application.
Yes, APK is the build file of installer build of Android platform. Like we have exe and all MSI in the Windows platform. There in the Android platform it is APK. So this way we need to create one project, like we need to create an Android test project. Okay, fine. We're giving a project name. Now here we have two options, like this project and an existing Android project. Like I have said, we can have our automation script over if we have the source code, and we can also write the scripts we don't have the source code. Okay, fine. Now if we'll select this project, that means we are indicating that we don't have the source code of the application under test in this workspace, and we'll be running this script on an application that already been installed to the emulator or the device. And when we are selecting this one like an existing Android project, that means we are indicating that application that we are going to test, the source code or that complete project is available on this particular workspace. So here we are going to test on an APK file, that's why I am selecting this project. Okay, now I need to convert this project to a Maven project so that we can have dependency management. So First I need to create the structure of Maven project like source main Java. Okay, now convert it to a Maven project. We need to install the Maven plugin for Eclipse that I have already installed with this version of Eclipse. So to convert it to a Maven project, just right click on this project name and then configure, then convert to a Maven project. Okay. Now with the POM file we need to add the dependency of Robotium. So this one is the dependency of Robotium that I am adding to the POM file so that the jar of Robotium, that means the library of Robotium, can be added to the build path of this project. Now we need to create one package. And then we need to create one class file where we are going to write our automation scripts. Okay, now how will indicate the thing like which application we are going to test that already been installed with that emulator. So for that we need the package file of that application. So how to get that package name? We have several options for that. Like we can run that application directly in the emulator, and that package file will be identified from a perspective that comes with Eclipse, and I mean Android Eclipse, that is called hierarchy view. So from hierarchy view, we can have that. Okay, now when you run that particular application in the emulator, we can see the package and the activity, that the present activity in this left navigation bar. Like here you can see my activity is over here. This is the home screen of this application, and here we have org.wordpress.android. This is the package name, and org.wordpress.android.new account. Let me expand this one. So this is the highlighted one, like you can see, and the stop that is after this slash, this is the activity name. So here we have package like org.wordpress.android that we need to mention in the manifest file of our Android test project. Okay, here you can see like one thing, target package. So target package is the package name of the application that we are going to target, or on which we are going to have our test run. So okay, now we are going to develop the automation script that we can run on that particular application. So to understand the, I mean, the workflow of this project is based on JUnit 3. We are extensively using JUnit 4, but it is a little different than this. Okay, to start with, we need to inherit one class that comes with Android SDK called Activity Instrumentation Test Case 2.
By default, the name is like that.
Yes, I mean in JUnit 3 we have a feature like everywhere we need to inherit test case. That is a class called test case. Means that facilitates you to write your automation scripts. So as they have modified this JUnit 3 to of their own, so that's why instead of test case we are inheriting this class. Oh, sorry. Okay. Now we have to define the launcher activity class name over here. Like launcher activity class name, like I have demonstrated over here in the hierarchy view perspective. Like this one is the launcher activity. That means when we are launching the application, we are calling this activity. So we need to mention the full class name of this. Okay, now you can see like I have defined one string variable called launcher activity class name, and I am just initializing it with the class name that we got from the hierarchy view. And here I have created one instance of Solo. What is Solo? Solo is the main class of Robotium. Like it contains all the functions that we are going to use while developing the automation script. There is one static block, like we know in Java, static blocks gets executed at the loading time. That means before other blocks gets executed, this static blocks gets into, so that we can initialize the things before we have something running. And this one is the constructor. So when the instance of this test class will be created, then this constructor will be invoked, so that the launcher activity class, that means the screen of the Android application that we are going to test, will be launched when this constructor will be invoked. Okay, now setup and tear down. These are the inbuilt functions of JUnit 3. Like we have before and after, those annotations are there in JUnit 4. So what happens, like before the execution of any test method, that before annotate method is executed, and after that after annotate method is executed. But in JUnit 3, that setup takes the place of before annotation, and this tear down takes the place of means after annotation. So whenever we are executing one test, then before the execution of that test, this setup method will be executed, and whenever that test gets finished, no matter if it is passed or if it is failed, this tear down method will be executed. So in the setup, we are just initializing the solo instance that we have created. So here we have two methods like get instrumentation and get activity. These two methods belongs to this class activity instrumentation test case 2. Like this is the cause, that's why we have extended activity instrumentation test case 2. Now coming to this function like get instrumentation. So what is instrumentation? Instrumentation is actually class that is inbuilt in the Android platform, which monitors all the user actions that the automation script does, and it reverts back with the application. That means this is the mediator. That means it monitors all the actions that user is doing on that particular application or particular activity. So we are calling that class for this reason. And what get activity does, get activity launches the activity, I mean the launcher activity, when it is called. Like if it is present, then it's okay. If it is not present, then it will launch that particular activity in the emulator. And in the tear down method, in the solo class, we have one method called finish opened activities. Like whenever one test is executed, then we need to finish that activity. Like we need to restart again in that activity for further tests. So it is synonymous to close driver, quit driver in Selenium. Okay. Now in JUnit 4, we developed test scripts using annotations called test. So here those annotations does not matter. I mean when it is executed, the test methods are not recognized by annotations. It is recognized by a keyword called test. Suppose we are writing our test methods, I mean the test function, that name starts with test. That means it indicates the execution unit that it is a test method and this should be executed according to that. So suppose I want to click on this second button. Okay, this is add blog hosted at wordpress.com. I want to click on this button. So now we have two options, like okay. Now how we can get the locators from the application, like from the activity. Like in Selenium we have different stops like Firebug, Firepath, and we have ID to get the locators. Like how we can target the elements over one activity. We have two options. We can use index, like the first text field has index 0, the second text field has index 1, and so on. And we can use IDs over there. When an Android application is created, then the developer assigns some IDs to each element. So we can use those developer provided IDs to target on those elements. Like suppose we don't have the source code. So how to get the IDs from the application? For that again we have to use hierarchy view. Okay, so this one is the activity, and I need to target the elements on this activity. So for that I just need to click over here. So this loads all the UI elements and its hierarchy to this view. Okay, it actually takes some time to load the view structure. So
has ended the session, and this
okay, for any reason it is not loading right now, so you guys can test it. Like for now, I am just targeting by index. Like you can see, this one is the second button, so it has index 1. Like test button, that the method name I am giving, and we can develop test functions like this. Solo dot click on button. We have two things over there here, like index we can pass like 1, and if you want to pass the id, then we can pass the id as a string. Okay, let's run it. So while running, we need to run it as Android JUnit test. So as I said, like it is a customized version of JUnit 3. So the name is Android JUnit. Okay. So one thing that we have missed, like we need to check the build path if the Robotium dependency has been added or not. Like this way you can go to the build path, and then we need to add all those things.
If you don't compare also, like it will not throw any error.
Yeah, actually the jar file of the Robotium is not added to the build path. That's why it has thrown a class not found error. Jar file of the Robotium, like the dependency of Selenium we add, that way we are okay.
If you write selenium or something, it will throw error message.
Yes, that means
That instance comes
Mhm.
from that jar file only.
Okay.
So if you don't compare, it will not throw any
Uh, yes, it will throw error. Like I have added a Maven dependency over here, no, for Robotium. Uh, so that library has been already added, and while running, we just need to add it to the build path, so that the compiled file of the Robotium library gets into the APK file that is getting generated, and that will be installed in this emulator, and that APK file is responsible to run the tests over our application under test. Like you can see from the log, it's installing robotium session.apk. That is the test project that we have created. Uh, so it will install first, then it will call the instrumentation class to start the activity that we are going to test, and that activity will be launched in the emulator, and then the test, like see, this one is the activity that has been launched, and it clicked on the second button. See, so after clicking, this screen opens. Now you can see this test method has been passed. So this way we can define our test methods. Okay, from where we can get the API definitions or the functions that Robotium is providing us. So this is the link that I have provided over here. We can navigate to this link to have the Java doc of that project, and to have a brief eye on the packages that are available with Robotium. Like buy is a class that is synonymous to buy that we are using with Selenium. Like basically it is used to target on web elements. As I said, it has complete support for web views also, from a hybrid application point of view. So suppose you need to target some web elements like links or some stuff that is related to web HTML content, then this class is used, like buy.id, buy.xpath, those stuffs we can use. Condition, this package has only one method, that is called isSatisfied, and isSatisfied, inside that we can put some condition like if something is present or something is not present, or something is happening after doing some stops, we can check the condition by this package. And then Solo is the major class of the Robotium, like it contains all the functionalities, and almost 95% of the methods that we are going to use we will get from this package Solo. And solo.config, we can set the timeouts, like suppose we are waiting for some text or waiting for some button, we can set the timeouts there. And screenshot file type, presently there are two type of screenshot supported with Robotium. One is PNG and another one JPG. A timeout is also another class, separate class, to define the only timeouts of various functions. Like we have some functions wait for, get, those stops can be controlled from this timeout library. And web element, this is the package from, we can interact with the web elements that we have done with the buy class. This is the same thing. Okay, now how we can run the test project. Like I have shown how we can run from the Eclipse, and we have an option to run the things from the command line. So these commands we can use to run the test from the command line, and we can specify one particular class, one particular function also in this. Okay, yeah. Okay, annotations that I have missed. Okay, these are the annotations that is available with Android test project. Like there are lots of annotations are available. These are the majorly used annotations, like small test, medium test, large test, and this flaky test. This one is this one is interesting. Like suppose we are setting one tolerance, like 1, 2, 3, some in that way, an integer number. So in which test method we are giving the tolerance, this that repeats for that much of number that we are giving in the place of n. Like for in the first attempt that particular test is failed, then if we have given the tolerance 2, then it will again run on that particular thing, and it will check for the result. Okay, as I said, like the test methods are gets detected from the keyword called test. So why will use these annotations like small test, medium test, large test? So we can have a control over our test run by using the annotations. Like here you can see from run configurations, you can mention which annotations you want to run. Okay, so Robotium, as I have demonstrated, it is fully supported by Maven. Like we can also build this complete project using Maven. So for that we have a separate plugin called Android Maven plugin that we need to use, and and also we can use continuous integration tools like Jenkins. So Jenkins is also supported. Okay, I have prepared a small demo with 3-4 functions. I am just running it. And from run configuration, we can mention the device also, like on which device we need to run the test. Like always prompt to pick device, this option will prompt you with an window like which device you want to be selected, and then launch on all compatible devices. That will launch the test on all compatible device that has been connected, or the that kind of emulators that is already in the system. Or if we have not opened an emulator or not connected in device, then it can automatically open an emulator and run the device. That option can be selected from here. Okay, during this test run, if we have any questions.
That project folder we need to create it, that way the WordPress or APK file is available.
I did not get you.
You have shown one project folder, right? Where
Yeah.
WordPress APK file was
Yes,
available,
yes.
and you got it from here.
Yeah.
So that project folder we need to only create.
Yes, I mean you just need to install that APK to the emulator, and that is done. Then we need to create the test project and run over that, because we know the bundle ID, the package name of that application. We know the launcher activity class name that we will be mentioning in this test project, and now while running it, that will automatically target that application.
You said after comparison only we will get that file, right? APK, WordPress APK.
I mean here two APKs come to the picture. One is that APK file, that is the AUT application under test that we are installing it, and second one gets generated while running our test project. I mean suppose this one is our test project. Okay, so when we run this one, then after compilation it generates one APK file that you can see here in the bin folder.
But to make it run that particular APK has to configure it.
No, we don't need to do anything. This while running it from Eclipse, it will automatically install that test APK, and it will run the test automatically. We can also do that, like we can manually install this file, and then we can run the test from the command prompt. So we can also manually do that, but while running from Eclipse, it automatically
How is it searching for that APK?
sorry.
How is it searching for that particular APK? That means this APK file is present in this particular folder and just to configure
Okay.
this particular process.
Now see, when you compile some Java program, then some jar files gets generated. So that is the outcome of that project. Here the outcome is an APK file. That means after compilation, this APK file gets generated, and this Android additive plugin is configured in that way. Like while running, it will generate this one in the bin folder, and it will automatically install to the emulator and launch the test. So we are not controlling that thing. Okay, so we'll be getting the reports in this format. Like we have customized this to a framework, and this reports gets generated inside emulator, and we can pull it from emulator and have these results.